Hello, everyone. This is Coach Clayton, and this is the Women's Empowerment Interview episode. And today we have Liz as our guest, and she's going to discuss her amazing journey of overcoming personal and professional obstacles in her life. So, welcome, Liz.
Thank you for having me. So glad to be here.
Absolutely. It's so nice to finally meet you.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
That's anything now.
Yes. So your background really intrigued me. Just because you were so open about your depression, your anxiety, and also actually creating a thriving business, it really intrigued me. And I'm like, I want to speak to Liz. I want to see, how she overcame her obstacles and what she can say to inspire others to actually overcome their obstacles. So one thing, where do you want to go here? Do you want to start with your personal? Do you want to start with professional? It's up to
Let's
you.
start personal because they kind of intertwine too. Like I've always been a big, I always believe that you really can't leave work at work and leave home at home. They meant because you're the person, so they kind of
Yes.
intertwine.
Okay. Okay. So let's dive a little deep.
Sure.
I know that you said that you had to overcome or still may be dealing with depression and anxiety. How tell me a little bit about that. How did you find that it developed? What were some of the mechanisms that helped you with it on a day to day? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I have been on this mental health journey for 10 years now.
Okay.
I um, I didn't know that I had postpartum depression and anxiety until I was pregnant with my second daughter. And I was having some very, very scary, intrusive thoughts. And I got to the point where I finally felt that I needed to confess, I guess, or like just let the secret out. I just thought I was a terrible mother, that I hated
Mhm.
motherhood, that I was a monster, that I was just an awful person, but I was actually extremely depressed. So it wasn't until I finally said something to my husband that I was having all these thoughts and I was thinking these, and I was very depressed and suicidal that I started to get help.
Okay.
So and then with that, it took a long time. I will say that
Mhm.
it was probably a good 2 years before I felt normal or like whatever normal is, but I
Mhm.
felt okay. Um, that I went to therapy, I started medications. I ended up hospitalized in a psych ward after my second daughter was born. And
Okay.
it has been a journey since then of really just learning how to live with, depression and anxiety. At the beginning, I thought that I would just kick it. I'd be like, okay, this is just a temporary thing. I'm gonna take these meds for 6 months and then I'll be fine. It's been 10
Mhm.
years and I'm just learning, and like it's been a growth journey of just learning to accept that this is what my life is, that I have
Yes.
to then take a look at the stressors in my life and how I live my life and what influences it to make it easier on me and have this be
Mhm.
part of my life.
Yes, amazing. Liz, thank you so much for being brave and to openly discuss, depression and anxiety, because a lot of times we do sweep things under the rug, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And think that because it's not being talked about, it's not an actual issue or real life issue that we're dealing with. And
Right.
my goal is to be able to like bring these issues to the forefront and allow people, everyday people, to see that, it's okay to discuss these things because this is the only way that we get better is if we
Right.
discuss them. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
I know exactly. It was other moms that were sharing their struggles with postpartum depression that
Mhm.
made was really a turning point in my recovery. I can still see myself sitting on my picnic table in my backyard, scrolling through Twitter and being like, there's other moms just like me.
Yes.
And once I was in a better place, I started sharing my story. And then when I didn't always have my own business. I worked in, an office. I was a manager. I was open with my staff and my colleagues about how I was feeling. Then
Mhm.
that made them more comfortable to say, like, I need a day today, or I'm not okay today. Like, at least it just opens these
Yeah.
dialogues to make it less taboo and, or eliminate some of the stigma so people actually get help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you were to give advice to a woman that was in the place that you were before you received, therapy and things like that, what would the advice be for them?
It would be to speak up. Whoever your trusted circle is. I know that not everybody has, trusted circles. If it's your husband, it's a friend, if anybody, whoever it is, say something. Because I think that it is the secrets that cause the shame, and it's the anxiety and depression. They say awful things to you, and that's what's going through your mind. So if you speak it, put it outside, it takes away some of that power of that depression and anxiety, and you can start to get help. And it's less like in your head, the actually admitting it is so terrifying, but then it's not that bad. Like that's what about, it's not that, once you say it, once you admit it, it's not that bad. It's not the end of the world. And you start this journey of getting help. And it's like the first step. And so it might feel like you're falling off the cliff, that admitting that you need help,
That's right.
But it's hold on, you will get there. You will.
I love that, because a lot of times we are always trying to keep it together, keep the image together at all costs, and sometimes rip off that mask. You know what I mean? And it's fine to ask for help. A lot of times as women, we're taught that we have to make sure that all of our ducks are in a row, but no, it really is okay to ask for help. Thank you for that, Liz.
And I think that's where a lot of my struggles came from, is because I was trying to keep all that I had a successful career, that I had a wonderful family and marriage, that I all these things. And then inside I just felt like I was failing and dying, and, and it's hard to also then keep that front up.
Exactly. And that's what society teaches us, especially as women. You're not a successful mother, you're not a successful business person, anything, unless you can show that image, especially with social media nowadays. So yeah, thank you for that. I really, that's going to really inspire other women. It really will. So we talked about your depression, we talked about your anxiety and the steps that you took, which is amazing. What I really want to discuss as well is you're a business owner. And how did you take that leap? How did you take that leap from working as a manager to saying, listen, I'm going to have my own business? And what were some of the steps that you took? What led you there?
So I have always wanted to have my own business, even since I was little. And so I worked in the public sector, for 15 years. I lived in New York. That's where I grew up. That's where all my family is. And about 2 years ago, my husband and I, we decided to relocate from New York to North Carolina. So I was starting to look for jobs, and we didn't know where we were going to exactly live. And I'm like, let's take this opportunity. Let's go big or go home, to start running my own business. And so the skill sets that I had in the public sector of project management and procurement, things like that, I was like, these are the things I love that I've done over my career in the last 15 years. Let's start focusing that into a consulting business. So that is it's been a lot of figuring it out. I don't want to say that it's easy, because it's not. It was a lot of figuring it out and pivoting and trying this and being like, that didn't work. Or like, oh, I think I love this. And then being like, don't love that. Let's try something. It is a lot of trial and error, but there's such a freedom in it being your own business, and that you can choose to do that. And, that you can choose which direction you're going, and, all that type of thing. So it has been a learning. I've learned so much in the last 2 years of running this business and starting it. I know there's some infograph of the day of an entrepreneur is up and down and up and down.
Yes.
It is totally that. It is absolutely that. And some days I want to throw in the towel, and some days I'm like, this is the best. So it's been a journey. I love it. I'm going to continue going. And, I took that leap and believed in myself. And, it was hard and scary. I don't regret it. And, we'll see where it goes.
I get it. And I like how you said the day in the life of an entrepreneur is up and down, because a lot of times, especially again, I'm going to reference social media when they show the pretty picture, the beautiful pictures, and they're on their yachts. And no, this is hard work. Okay. It's not like 9 to 5 and you're done, right?
No, not
This
at
is hard
all.
work.
It is very hard work. Yeah, maybe I'll get to the point where like I'm on a yacht, but probably not. That's fine. I don't know that I want one.
I know. Exactly, exactly. A lot of times we think of it's time freedom too, but in the beginning, it is not time freedom.
Nope. Nope, it's not
Yeah.
at all. But I also found the difference of like when I'm working towards something just that's my own for myself, I don't care.
Yes.
I don't care that it's
Yes.
10 o'clock and I'm going through and like, doing something for my website or, reaching out. I don't care. But if it was for somebody else, then I'd be like, we need some work-life balance, some boundaries here.
Yeah.
So that's the difference is that I don't clock the hours that when I'm working things for my business because it doesn't feel that way.
That's
You
right.
know, it doesn't feel that all the time. Sometimes it does. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to just play
Mhm.
some games on my phone. I need to check out.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. What if you were to name like 2 or 3 things that you didn't foresee when it came to starting your business, what would that be?
Um, I would say I didn't foresee like the impact social media would have on my confidence, and it's so I'm to the point now. I'm like I need to stop looking at Facebook because I've curated like Facebook to be I'm following all these different coaches and business minded things, whatever. But then when I'm feeling like down or I'm having an off day and I see all that in my feed, I feel like I'm failing. So I used to be like, oh, okay, they get ahead when with my personal life and mental health, I surrounded myself with like these women, and all this mental health community. And it was very uplifting using social media and having that community of people I didn't even know. But now I'm finding it that when I compare myself to them, and that feels awful sometimes. So I need to take a break back. So I was surprised that how much that would have an impact on my, confidence and, things like that. And another thing is like another aspect that was so surprising to me and like trying to change it for this year is that like you need to focus on like one thing and get it right instead of like because
Yes.
I'm a notor I'll get courses, I'll get these
Yeah.
freebies, I'll get these things, whatever. And like I have like 3 prongs to my business and like focus on one thing, get it right,
Yeah.
get it going, and then scale. I'd always be like, well, how am I going to scale? I'm like, why don't I sell one thing first and then I worry about scaling?
Exactly.
So it's like I don't even know what advice, like because there's so much out there, you don't even
Mhm.
know what advice to listen to.
Mhm.
Because you're just like, oh, I'm like, I have to worry about scaling or I have to worry about SEO. Like, what? Work on your offer first. Who are you trying to sell to?
Yes. Yes. So, so true. So, so true. And I learned as well is that I need to get one thing right. You get one thing right, you master that. And then you move on. It's not, I know that they always preach multiple streams of income. Yeah. Under one prong, get that one prong right, and then you'll be, and then you can move on. So yeah, I
And
love
then
it.
add a second one. Get that one chug in, get it,
Yes.
the whole flow or whatever. It's got to keep coming in.
Yep, exactly, exactly. Yes. So where can people find you online? Like where?
Sure. So my business is called the Anxious Adult LLC, just because that is, who I am.
Okay,
So my website is theanxiousadult.com.
okay.
And I am also, I have a Facebook page, which is, Facebook, The Anxious Adult.
Okay.
And I'm Liz Colts on LinkedIn and Facebook and stuff like that. So feel free to follow me and
Mhm.
connect. I love hearing from people.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Well, Liz, I just want to thank you so, so much for taking your time. I know that you're busy, taking your time out of your busy day to chat with me.
Thank you for having
um,
me. This has been a great way for a Saturday morning. I love it.
Hey everyone, this is Coach Clayton, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of Women Empowering Women. Please don't forget to subscribe or follow me for more interesting interviews and life advice tips.